Welcome to Jazz Nerds. Today, my first inaugural guest is somebody that you all know and love. Someone I've known since he was a wee little whippersnapper. And today we're going to discuss, our discussion today is For the Love of Pop. Welcome, Terrace Martin.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Hi, Terrace.
I'm happy to be here.
How you feel? I know you just got off a real serious conversation with the jazzers and whatnot
Man, that shit wasn't serious, man. They
with Herbie Hancock and whatnot.
yeah, that was a cool vibe. It was a cool, Rob was on there talking over everybody, and
Yes,
Greg
yes.
Greg Greg Feeling Games was cracking his
Those are our
jokes.
brothers. Yes, yes, yes.
And
They love to talk.
James Poison was like he's like this.
Yes, very happy, very smiley. Yes, yes.
And then Herbie was dropping all like they'd be like, yo, Herbie, so how do you feel about a USB cable? He'd be like, we all have to face life challenges.
Among them,
You know
USB.
what I'm saying? So it was
Yeah.
eclectic. It was eclectic crew. It was cool though. It was
It's
beautiful.
really interesting because, the fact that you work with Herbie segues into this, what we're discussing today, which is, I don't like to think of it as a discussion so much as you and me chopping it up. But when we think about like the hip hop influence on pop music, because there's a lot is said about the influence of pop on hip hop. What do you feel like? I mean, Herbie Hancock is somebody that through the decades has influenced pop music and has been influenced by pop music. He's always stayed very like a part of the culture. I mean, Rocket being like the greatest example. But he's somebody that stays pulling and pushing the culture, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He stay in the mix. Like he stay in the mud of whatever he's searching for. You know what I'm saying? Like he always be trying to just like go for the next and go for the person or go around the. He loves being around the unperfect shit. Like
Right,
the awkward, the chaos, the we don't know what to call it yet. That's kind of like
right,
his thing. Like, oh yeah, let's call it elbow, and it's like,
right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So he just love. He's very like his attitude to me. He's very hip hop. He's very like a. Although we all know he has a supreme high skill level,
Sure, sure.
but the way he thinks about that shit is very like it's kind of like he ain't even tripping on this. He trying to get in where he fit in and just be a
He's just
part
being
of it.
creative.
He's
He's
just
being
being
creative,
creative,
right?
and yeah, it's with no
Yeah,
ego.
right.
Yeah,
I've heard these stories about, I don't know if they're all true, but I've heard these stories from relatively reputable sources about Miles Davis, how he would see a pop act or a soul act. He would see Sly and them. He'd be on a festival with someone and really want that adoration of the crowd. Like he in a way, he was such a deep jazz cat at the beginning of everything, but that he kind of was like a pop star in a way. He
yeah,
really wanted to be able to speak to all generations of people through his music.
yeah, yeah, and he did.
Yeah.
He spoke to everybody, and you know what was cool about Miles? I like about Cat like with him in particular, where you don't even gotta like jazz to like Miles Davis.
Right.
Like you could pick so many amazing things about him to like about him. You don't even gotta like what everybody liked about him. He's just the everything with the cool shit, and he
He's
always
like,
stayed.
to me, he's like the music starter kit dude. He's the, if you, hey, I'd like to get some records, or I'd like to learn about music or
Yeah,
listen, dive a little deeper into music. He's Kind of Blue is a good record you can give people,
yeah, yeah. I tell
or
people that
Tutu.
I tell people that about Snoop with Doggy Style.
Yeah.
Like what is an album that embodies one of the greatest hip hop albums where I can hear cohesiveness? I always say Snoop Dogg Doggy Style, and I always say Snoop Dogg to me is the Miles Davis of his thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? From the group, from him birthing all leaders, he always stays with the next. He has a show with Martha Stewart.
How'd that happen?
And I've been with him. I've been with him with some of the most back in the day, the most strangest gangster shit.
How
But
long you
then
been playing with him? The whole time I've known you, right?
16, 16, 17. So over shit,
Many, many
over
years.
22, 23 something years. You know, he's been in my life a consistent 24 years. Easy.
So, were you like? Do you play sax on the road with him? Or you? I know you're like a multi instrumentalist.
I'm gonna
Do
get in
you
where I fit in
play?
because I had a baby young. Whatever, however the fucking gig went. If you want me to play sax, drums, keys, it wasn't
I
that
got
deep.
cymbals,
Yeah, I was.
kazoo.
You know what's funny? And that's I come from having to learn different instruments to work, not
To right and
not
fit in
even to
right
be.
away.
Yeah, even I play bass on the blues gig, like,
Oh,
and
did
somebody.
you?
Yeah, one for as long as we playing open strings, E, A, that shit. I play the pocket. I don't play like some of these bass players all up here and shit.
I'm not going to talk about.
It's all good.
Not going to talk about that. You feel like I feel like Snoop has such a love for actual music, particularly soul music. I don't know what his other things are that he loves, but I know personally that he loves soul music, and I feel like he's always been one of those artists that you could hear his influences in the music.
Yeah,
You
Snoop.
reckon?
Snoop loves being black. He loves
Yeah.
the whole. He loves the whole black experience. From I always said when Snoop will cook fried chicken for you, French fries, all hella fried chicken. We used to always eat so much fried chicken, but he would be so classy about it, like fried chicken for everybody, but it'd be all these stars coming over for the house. But I'm saying, like, and then I used to ask him, I'd be like, man, how you know so much music? I don't know, no, I don't know anybody personally that knows as much music as Snoop Dogg. I just
Yeah.
don't know from all genres of music. And he said because my job, my mom would after work go get her beer, her friends would come over, and my job was to keep playing the vinyl on the record
He's like a
player.
DJ.
He's
He's
a
like a
DJ.
super educated DJ.
Yeah, so that's where he learned about Blue Magic, the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Dramatics, Donny Hathaway, Isaac Hayes, the
And
Isley
it
Brothers,
shows up in that music.
all the time.
Same with Dre for me too. Same with
Yeah,
Dre.
yeah. He bought. Uh, Snoop said this fact. They was leaving two girls' house after hanging out with some girls. Him and Dr. Dre, and Atomic Dog was coming on, and they was driving. And Snoop was like, Snoop Doggy Dog. And then Dre was like, hey, you like that? He was like, yeah. And Snoop started bringing Dre all them funk records and hey, let's bang this and let's bang Little Ghetto Boy. Let's whoopty whoop. Let's bang like
Wow.
Snoop was bringing all them records that his mama was hearing that because you got to understand like just a little Death Row history, whatever. But when Dr. Dre was with NWA, it was hella funk influence and everything, but it was more, I felt more breakbeat, Hank Shockley, Public Enemy
Right.
influence.
Right.
When he got with when he started Death Row and he found Snoop and them, I know that influence, that younger influence on him just shifted his whole thing, and
Hmm.
it just so Snoop is like to me the root of all the
I
hip
hear
shit.
that. It's those moments when you can pinpoint where there was a shift in the consciousness about how the music gets created, and that person, to know that guy is huge.
Yeah, and he cool. He loved his favorite story is they used to sell dope to your music. That's his favorite story back in the
Wait,
day.
when I was 20 and he told me that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Snoop Dogg. Appreciate the support.
Him and Lil Half Dead.
Wow.
Lil Half Dead playing Lalah Hathaway
Did
on
you
a
ever
bike.
take your sax on the road with him?
Yeah, I started off playing keys for him because there wasn't no need for no saxophone because there wasn't no sax in that music.
Sure. No.
But I would take my horn and I would get a sax solo in,
Very good.
maybe at the end of the night when
Very good.
some all
I'm
right.
proud of you.
Peace, y'all. Good night. When Snoop walk off, I'll probably get to play a little bit. Yeah. And then every night he started letting me play more, but usually it was a keyboard. But then what we started hiring music. He started letting me hire my friends young,
Uh-huh.
like so. I was like, okay, well, since I'm not gonna play the horn, let me hire some people I could practice with every day that could play the other kind of music that I really want to play as well.
Right.
And that's when I
Do
hired
you
Thunder.
do you consider yourself a jazz musician?
I consider myself a musician
A musician.
with the foundation of jazz, with
Same.
a
Right on.
very intense love, high level. But it's not fair for me to say I'm a jazz musician because I don't just deal with that thing of music. But I have a high respect for it because
Why do you say it's not fair?
because it's like,
Because there's cats out there that practice 9 hours a day looking
well,
for
not
light leaks in their
it,
horn.
it's peace out to all my friends you just mentioned right there.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? Because it's I mean, it's already a group of guys that are on the front line for jazz.
Hold, please hold.
I knew Layla was selling dope.
Sorry.
I knew you selling
In
dope.
the laundry room on the counter. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Did you see my mother? She was like, keys.
Mama. Hey, mamas.
If she had been able to see you in this little square, she'd have said, "Oh, hey, sugar."
It's all good. Hey, mamas don't. Mamas live by different
They're
rules.
Good.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good. You were saying, what were you saying?
I forgot.
It's all good. It's all good.
Wait,
We're
what
talking
was I
about
saying?
like if it's when you I consider you like a musician with the foundation in jazz and soul and the roots of Black American music, but you were saying you don't like to think of yourself like that.
Oh yeah. A jazz musician because it's some guys on the front line that are out there just trying to hold that banner. And honestly, I think, in all fairness, I think to call myself any one thing, it's like I'm from South Central. I avoided gang banging at the hype of it. Like if I avoided being from a gang, I'm not gonna wait to have this high sense of musical freedom and put myself in any type of
In a
box.
box.
That's just whack.
Right.
It's
I
like
feel you.
so really, really I don't wanna put myself in a box, but to some people that's not a box. So,
There you have it.
yeah, but I like swimming in I like different kind of foods, different liquors, different kind of weeds, you know. Now I even like different religions. They all got something good to offer. I like mixing
Same.
everything up as long as you ain't stealing and killing motherfucking hurt nobody feelings, I'm with you.
You're all good. Can we talk about just for a second, like the role of the saxophone in popular music? First of all, the tenor sax is one of my favorite instruments of all time. I love the alto sax too. But what has happened to the alto sax, in my personal humble opinion, is so many horrible people have played it. Not horrible people, but horrible players have played it that it grates on my nerves. Can we just talk about, you know, what's your principal, alto or tenor?
I love all of them, but I personally feel connected to the alto. And I don't double. I don't be playing all the woodwinds and all the horns. I play one horn.
Yeah.
If you want a tenor, I try to play that shit low, but they'd rather call Kamasi some shit for that.
Right. But I mean, you managed to get a saxophone on like a Kendrick Lamar record. Arguably, like that to me feels like a jazz. That feels like the perfect marriage of jazz and hip hop. I mean, that's a very kind of, I'm really watering down what all the things that record is and stands for. But what was the approach? Were you trying to make a record that was like, let's just make the blackest record we can that's hip hop and jazz? Or how did that come about?
Man, let's just get in the room, watch the news, get some tequila, crack some jokes, and just do what we do, man. Let's just do what we do. Meaning, like let's do it. Let's do what they not doing for sure, though. Let's
Right.
start. We don't know nothing except that.
Right.
Let's not. If they going fast, we gonna go slow. If they going left, we gonna go right. Let's just do what we feel warms the heart. The first, just like in the spirit of jazz, like kind of like I dare you to use the first or second take. Is that what we doing? That's what we felt? Let's shape that. You know, it was me, and Ron was telling me, Ron Carter, about the Plug
Oh,
Nickel
I'm sorry.
sessions.
I'm sorry. Wait, how Ron Carter was telling you? That's you're just gonna
Ron,
gloss over how Ron
I
Carter was telling you
always,
something or
you
what?
know, you know, you know, and I know a few guys over
Go
there,
on. Go on.
but
Go on.
just the spirit behind the Plug Nickel. The Plug Nickel is a record by Herbie Hancock, a live record, one of my favorite. That's to me, I believe that's the record that shifted my whole brain. The Plug Nickel. That's one of the early gigs with Wayne, Ron, Herbie, and Tony. But that particular night, the Plug Nickel was important because that was the night that Tony Williams and being Tony Williams was just voicing out like, you know, we should be playing different behind Miles. We've been playing the same way. We should be we should kind of be playing anti music. Like when the music is supposed to go quiet, we should be loud. When it's supposed to go loud, we should be quiet. You know, we should. That's when they start playing those slow ballads, real tempos, like fast tempo. They start playing real. So they was just doing opposites, different things. That's when you first hear Herbie just soloing with one hand, and he's not comping. Like everybody was. That's when also Tony was starting to develop the hi hat, the.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
But then on that record it was,
Oh wow.
and then eventually it went to, you know what I'm saying. But that record, they was like, yo, let's just try something else. So we was doing the same thing to where, like, my approach on the record was just, let's just make that shit as ghetto as fuck, no matter what area we go to.
Just follow your instincts. Just
Follow
go.
The follow is really, you know what? Let's just make it a jam session, and let's remove the ego and let's just jam. Let's just do what feels right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we were just doing this shit. And musically, me, I was like, oh shit, this is my homeboy. At this point, by the time I start playing the saxophone, I'm already 7, 8 songs in. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't know it was gonna go boom, but I was like, it's gonna go better than the last records I've been a part of for sure.
Right.
So I was like,
Does he have an interest in jazz like that? Does he listen to music like that? Do you know?
yeah. I wish I had my phone. I just sent him. I just turned him on to Joni Mitchell. We was having
Oh.
we was having a conversation just about.
Oh, that's beautiful. Good job. Good job.
Yeah. I just turned him on to
What
Joni
record
Mitchell.
did you give him? What record did you give him?
Well, for him, you know what I do to everybody when I turn them on to something today, lightly, I simply I just forward them the essential iTunes link.
There you go.
And then I say, pull your top 2 that you love and come back and we'll discuss and we'll go through the albums and then I'll go through this next layer. And we do this a lot. You know what I'm saying?
On. Please,
Yeah,
please make sure he has Chalk Mark and a Rainstorm
I
and
love that.
Hejera,
Come on.
please. Hejera, please.
Hejera.
It's important that he has both of those records.
Hey, have you ever done a record with Joni?
No, but I met her at a party last year, and there is a photograph. There is video of me getting the photograph because I kind of just stood next to her and said, hello. And so in all of that, she will never know how much I love her. I couldn't even, the words wouldn't come. I just wanted to sing into her ear, and I thought surely she'll understand my love when she hears my tone. But I just took the picture.
No, I think that was a good move.
Yeah, just get out of here. Just take the photo and just get the hell out of the way. Cause
Man, you need to do a song with Joni. You need
listen,
something
come on.
for real, man.
Favorite
Man,
Joni Mitchell song? Go. What is it? Wanna know mine?
Hold on. Let me get to mine.
I didn't want to put you on the spot
on the
in case.
It's on the Mingus project.
Oh, that's a great record.
But the whole album,
It's a great record.
that was my intro to Joni. That was my
Right.
intro, young.
The fact that we hear Mingus's voice on that record
Come on, man.
is so heavy. That's a great record. Good job.
Oh
James.
man.
Good job.
Yeah, you feel me? You feel me?
So you, like I am, a child of a musician. So is your father? He's a drummer, yes.
Yep.
Would you call him a jazz drummer? I hate these labels, but
He is he is a jazz drummer.
He is a jazz
I
drummer.
mean, he plays everything, but his spirit embodies that, like old school. Like he could listen to music and love it, or he could listen to that shit like it's sports and it's like it's just
Right.
it's that thing to where it's like I'm like, yeah, Dad, check that artist out. They're amazing. It was like the bar is set so low. Why are you subjecting yourself to such a low bar? And
Oh,
it's like let's talk like we on the low bar.
yeah.
Dad, it's amazing.
Right. Like, yeah, it's all right.
but he loves what he loves. Like he loves Herbie and Miles and Elvin. He'll
Did you
tell
grow up with that? Did you
yeah,
grow up with her? First, Elvin's my favorite.
hell yeah.
Elvin and Tony.
Come on now, they the best. I grew up with that because I was
Yeah.
in. I'm from LA. I'm from the Crenshaw district. So I'm from the era to where in the 80s before crack cocaine hit South Central LA. I remember every third household was a musician family. Everybody was a
Yeah.
musician because everybody moved out here to get work. And I remember, this is a fucking fact, the 70s, because funk music made niggas rich. Ain't no other music
Oh
been
yeah.
make people rich like
It
that.
was so regional too.
It was, you know what I'm saying? It was so regional. So in LA, from 1975 to 1985, 1970 to 1985, you could make a living. A house, 3-bedroom house, 2 bathroom, 1,600 square feet, 2-car garage, off of the Crenshaw district. Your kids go to Crenshaw High,
Right.
Audubon Junior High. Your wife got the good job at the nurse or whatever. You got if you got to have a wife with a good job. If you're gonna be a
Well,
musician
you
back
need
then.
benefits. You need benefits.
You need help. You need help. Or you just working like that. But it was a time when I remember just on the chilling circus scene, you could make a living playing 5, 6 nights a week in Los Angeles. I remember that. I
There
remember
were
this
like
thing.
jazz clubs in LA.
No.
Just
It was
clubs in LA.
it was spots like the Parisian Room, and you had little spots, but where the brothers hung out, you had the Parisian Room. Then you had later on in Lamert Park, but then you had Mr. J's on Crenshaw. They wouldn't be jazz clubs; they would be clubs that have jazz nights. Because
Right.
L.A. I mean, I don't, I
The
mean,
baked potato and
no, the baked potato. That's a different culture. That's Valley culture.
oh,
That's a whole different culture than what I'm
because
talking
it's over
about.
the hill.
That's white musicians. Back then
Oh,
it was brothers too, but that was a lot of the white musicians that was doing the sessions because a lot of white musicians all lived in the valley, so they would hang at the baked potato. But the brothers that would be playing for a living, feeding their families, would do all the clubs in L.A.,
gotcha.
Inglewood, Compton, everything like that. So we didn't grow up with the culture. We didn't even knew that no disrespect. We didn't know none of that even existed.
Right, because it was on the other side
We
of the
didn't
hill.
know none of that shit until high school. So other side of the hill. But then about 86, 87, crack cocaine start dominating, music starts shifting. Crack wiped out so much shit. Music starts shifting because it was really it was in the early 80s, mid 80s, it was people wasn't hiring a lot of the drummers and the keyboard players, and the only cats that was getting the jobs back then was the certain session cats in LA. That was either most of the white cats and a couple of the brothers. You had Ndugu, you had Harvey Mason. You
Right.
had only a couple of them, but you left a pool of musicians, a pool
Just yeah.
that our parents, like me, Kamasi Washington, Thundercat, it was a pool of musicians that had to figure out a whole thing, and a lot of us was left living in different living situations, drug addiction with everything because of musicians dying of broken hearts and everything like that. So the whole shit just shifted in LA like 88, 89, 90s got real shifty, it got dark. And then, Death Row came, Suge started hiring a gang of musicians, shit start Suge Knight is really a huge responsible person for
Yeah.
putting the black session musician back in place in Los Angeles,
Wow.
California.
That's
They
that's
don't they don't
that's
talk
something that's
about
probably
that.
never been said.
Suge did so much good for the communities too. All the great shit Suge did with us and the whole LA scene would never be talked about.
Right.
But he gonna do a movie because he the smartest businessman.
I
He
was about
probably
to
got a
say,
movie.
is that
You
the
know.
Ray J movie or no? What? No, it's not the.
Shouts out to Ray J, my guy.
My guy. I want to know who like your favorite saxophone players are. Now, this is a super obtuse conversation that you and I will normally have at my house with some Jameson. But I'm just curious. Do you have favorites anymore?
Hell yeah.
Let me guess.
Jackie McLean.
Jackie McLean. Archie Shepp.
I love Archie Shepp.
Wayne Shorter.
Wayne
Shorter.
Wayne.
I feel like there are some elements of pop music that we much has talked about the influence of hip hop on pop. Not much is spoken about the influence of pop on hip hop or jazz. You know what I mean? And it's such a gray area because pop, I'm thinking of hip hop and pop are basically the same thing. We just make less money at all times. Mm-hmm. So I think of hip hop as like a high kind of high pop, mm-hmm. Hip hop. Mm-hmm. You think about, are there any things that you think about in terms of popular music today that are influencing any of the jazz today? Do you see a delineation between any of these genres? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, that's a tricky question, man.
Yeah, because for me, it's hard for me when I'm listening to current music to hear the influence of anything other than other current music.
Yeah, you know what? No. Okay, I feel you. It's like when I do hear things, you know who's great at fusing hip hop and pop, but doesn't get the credit for it, but really is, to me, the most dynamic one. It's Ty Dolla $ign, really. From him, because he's a record producer too, plays and produces, but the way he sits there and constructs records, he's conscious of, yo, bro, we gotta have the 808, bro, like, and I'd be like, yeah, but he'd be like, bro, I'm gonna play some chords, bro, but not those things, bro, not those things,
right, not the clusters.
He said maybe like these things, bro, like, or maybe some of these, and maybe even some of these, bro. I said, why? He said the other instruments are playing other notes. By the time
you don't need all that.
The guitar player playing this, you don't need all what you doing. Like, ain't no funeral? You trying to look at this chord.
I used 8.5 fingers for He's somebody I want to work with still because
you never worked with him.
No.
Man,
I hear his musicality. He's clearly. What's interesting about him is he's almost like a session musician because he goes and lends his sound to so many records, and it comes. You know what I mean? He does so many different things. Yeah, he's on my list.
He was. You know, we all had a teacher. A lot of us had a teacher in L.A. By the name of Tyrone, and Tyrone also worked at Nadine's Music, and so most of us are first drum machines, and he was a session musician, trumpet player for a lot of big records. That's Ty's father. Ty was trained by one of the gurus of black session records in L.A. So he's if I could just talk musician talk, he's trained to be able to support a family on whatever he touches.
Yeah.
Whether it's the bass, keyboard, playing the background, doing your backgrounds, writing one line, writing the whole song,
writing the hook,
writing the hook. Mm-hmm. He just kind of, and that's what I learned from him. He always said, bro, sometimes just come to the studio, bro. If you're the only one that do what you do, you'll be on everything, bro. And I took that. He taught me that concept. That's why I just show with a bottle of champagne, like, what's up? Y'all got keyboards? They be like, man, can you touch this?
I'm in. Oh, that's good to know. Tell him I'm looking for him, would you?
No, I'm gonna make that happen. That's done. Yeah. You know, I do whatever you say. You feel me?
I appreciate it. I know that my influence is like I am who I am on every record, right? So when we're talking about, I take the jazz that I have in me, and it's a very super linear example. Like I will walk into your session and scat. I will go to a gospel church and scat. I will go on a pop gig, on an Anderson pop gig and scat. So talk to me about how you feel pop or hip hop has influenced jazz in that way. Are there any people you feel like are employing any of that to go from pop to jazz instead of from jazz to pop? We always hear about jazz to pop
Yeah.
because that's that
From
came
pop to
first.
jazz, yeah. You know what? Nah, I don't be hearing that shit
I
because
I
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go a little one more layer. I work with a lot of the pop dudes, and the one only a few. It's a few of them. Okay, Okay, it's some bad motherfuckers out here. You know,
sure
it's some bad motherfuckers, but
certainly
it's some superheroes out here too. It's a difference to me. Like
who
Greg Kirsten from Los Angeles, pianist, pop producer, did a lot of Adele stuff, 21 Pilots, Paul McCartney, a lot of big records. I met him when I was 13. He played at Jazz Etc. every night with a group called the Black Note and with Billy Higgins in Leimert Park.
oh
So and he is like look him up, Greg Kerr. He's honestly like, for me, Los Angeles always been top three easily, a real
wow,
one. Like
I don't even know that
and
name.
and he loves you. He loves you. Greg Kirsten is a look him up, dear friend of mine. One of my like I got two white dudes in my life I ever really fuck with.
Three now that you just met Tim. Three.
Oh, Tim, yeah, Tim. Or
Three.
Tim is soulful. It's
Tim's cool.
different.
He
So
gave you the thuggish, ruggedish
that's
bone
right.
right in the
But it
beginning.
was so Greg Kirsten, bad, and Ben Wendell, saxophone player.
Don't know
He's a
that name either.
super well known jazz tenor saxophonist now, but all from LA. These are all
Right
from
on.
LA. But it's like he's the only one that I've worked with that I've even heard where I hear, because he does jazz records too, so I hear his pop influence in his jazz stuff sometimes.
Uh huh.
You know,
So it's generally. Do you feel like?
but
For me, it
usually,
feels like it's people that do both, and you hear the influence of both. But I
yeah,
don't in popular culture so much. In jazz music, hear the influence of popular music of the time. I don't
well,
necessarily know
usually,
that.
unfortunately, did I say unfortunately? Unfortunately, these times it's like I don't know when it happened with jazz, how it got to be this closed-minded thing, but it's like Miles and everybody would listen to what's popping, listen to the Beatles, listen to everything. Nowadays, or even it's a lot of musicians are purists. They down everything. They
Yeah.
don't listen to nothing else, and they still playing all the things you are every night of the week. So
Right.
they don't listen to nothing new. So it's like that's also why I don't want to be called one kind of musician, because they just don't listen to nothing. It's hard, but I fuck with
Yeah.
them though. I fuck with them though.
Sure. I mean, when I think about someone like, for instance, like Kiefer, whom I met actually through you, who's become one of my like favorite people in the world
I
and favorite
love
people to work with.
Kiefer.
He's somebody that is clearly influenced by the zeitgeist, the music of his time, but also Oscar Peterson and Phineas
Yeah,
Newborn, and he can, you know what I mean?
yeah,
He can kind of float back and forth. But I
yeah.
don't know that there's a whole lot of that right now.
Nah, he's one. I mean, as far as what I bumped into, he's
Mm,
one. Cause with you, me, whoever we hang with, they gotta be versatile. It can't just
right.
be, I only play the blues and E. Like, no, bro, we're not fucking with you, bro. We're not fucking with you.
Who plays a blues in E? Blues supposed to be in B flat. Come on, man. Come
Usually doctor lawyers that play for a hobby. They play
on. Well,
blues
there
and
you
E.
go. There you
But
go.
not Kiefer, uh, yeah, Robert, one of those guys.
Yeah. The kind of guys that sort of straddle that line that are musicians that,
That love music.
yeah.
I love Kiefer though. He has gospel influences too, and
He has
that
a
makes
lot of
him.
different types of influences, and
Yeah,
I love the sound, and I love the whole approach, his approach to music making.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
He's hard. He actually made it to me. He helped usher in a whole new sound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with like
How?
that because he was doing something different in the musician space. He was heavy on the internet. He was heavy on Instagram, and the music he was doing, I like, it was that vibe where it was like, it was, I guess they call it lo-fi or something like that. But it's the
Mm-hmm.
thing where it's just his shit was different because his shit was that sound, but with changes and bridges and
Right.
colors and
Right.
anytime you add real harmony and real anything to something
Right.
new,
This
it
is always the thing I'm
expands.
looking for. You know, anytime I
Yeah,
work with you or Kiefer or Rob, it's always about not losing the low end. That's the spirit of our time and the music of
yeah,
our time, but actually having something to really juxtapose against it. Not even against it, but something to go with it,
yeah,
which is the harmony, the
yeah,
melody, all of
yeah.
that.
Hey, when you was doing your early records like Smile, like what was y'all thinking about? Because that was edgy then. That was different
It was
then.
you know what? I think I was thinking about showing up and getting the record done. I don't even know that I knew. I think that people heard where my mind was before I even really knew where my mind was. Because when I got to Berkeley, I had a Janet Jackson record
Yeah,
and a Pat Metheny record and a Jean-Luc Ponty record, and I thought I was super versatile with those three records. You know, so when I started making a record, I would just show up and like the Yellow Jackets would be there, you know, or Jeff Porcaro was there, or
did you know? Did you know who everybody was when you was cutting that record?
I had an idea. I had an idea who the people were. I knew that my record, I was working with people like Chucky Booker and people like the Yellow Jackets. I knew that the record was kind of spread out.
That
You know
shit.
what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah. Even someone like Angela Wimbush, you know, it's. I mean, I knew that my record had a lot of my influences on it, but
yeah,
I didn't think of it. I didn't think of myself as a jazz singer at that point in my life. You know, there was a point when I came to LA and I thought, I don't want to go to LA. I'll get soft if I go to LA. Because at that
yeah,
point, I had been indoctrinated into the, you know, the sort of jazz community that says, oh, if you do this, then you're not true to that, you know.
yeah.
But we know that that's all a
That's
farce.
the motherfuckers that can't pay their rent. I always gotta buy them drinks.
Oh, no.
They be hating me, but then they take my little drinks, and I be hugging them.
Yeah. Oh. That Kamasi Washington can play Coachella is astounding and so cool.
That's a
I
pop
mean,
move. That's a pop move.
it's a pop move, and not a lot
So
of musicians get to make that
yeah,
move.
but you know what?
Or
But consciously, let me say, consciously with Kamasi's record, because I was involved on that whole thing. I actually helped EP that whole record, and consciously, the thing when I came in and talked to his publicist, I said, you know what? Because I had learned by being so deep in doing hip hop records and dealing with hip hop business, where it's no, I'm the only musician for miles and miles and miles at a certain point to come. So I learned something with the hip hop thing to where with a lot of my guys I was working with in a certain era, all their songs are great to them. Everything is the next single. Like this is
sure,
it. This
right.
is it. This is it. And somebody else says if they say it's it, I guess it's it. Let's go. Boom. And I remember just looking at shit just go. And I remember saying, oh, it's more about the space we put the music in, more than the music itself. It's the space the reason why jazz is stuck, because it's not on a fucking billboard. It's
Right,
not, it's not, it's not in the front of a Foot Locker shoe deal. It's not,
right.
that's why it's not about the skill. It's
Not about
just
this,
about,
right.
it's not presented. So my thing is
So yeah,
so I was telling I said let's put everything we do, even if we do decide to play Ray Noble, Cherokee Suite. Let's avoid a Jazz Time article.
The
Let's
jazz of
avoid
it.
jazz anything. Let's put that shit, like, make the video. I'm always like this, yo, let's do a ballad, do a jazz ballad, and make it sound like, if you want to be influenced by Fall and Nefertiti, but then the video shouldn't be musicians. It should be a drive-by in slow motion that we don't see what
Right.
happens
It's
at
the
the
whole
end.
marketing of it and all that.
It's that. So that's what I.
Which is how you come up with like a Thundercat live set with Domi and JD Beck and Ariana Grande.
Spaces.
Right.
Different
Spaces.
spaces.
Yeah.
Miles was partying with the other sides to even
Absolutely.
he
and
was
recording
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper songs and Scritti Politti songs. Yeah.
It's like, and still being hip about it, not being, like, yeah, man, dibba-doo-bah, not like, dibba-doo-bah.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. When I frame it in that perspective, it makes so much sense. Like I think particularly a lot of the young, the newer, and I would still, even though he's gone, rest his soul, like Roy, even in that space of being like the consummate jazz musician, clearly, and showing up on D'Angelo records.
Yeah.
That's
that space. Or even like we could take it further back, like I remember a lot of the big things with Wynton Marsalis, why a lot of the world be like, jazz, Wynton Marsalis, Lincoln Center. It ain't because he playing tributes every goddamn day. It ain't because of that. It's because you remember Wynton Marsalis was on watch commercials, People magazine ads.
yeah, he was the Rolex dude, and
just like Joshua Redman. He was a Calvin
Right.
Klein model. He was this, so it was just about different spaces. Herbie Hancock. I mean, well, you get the bottom line is you get to smash. You get to smash.
right.
Smash does something different. You just got to know how to buy the right champagne for everybody else to keep it going.
Right. That's interesting now that I'm thinking about it. Now I got to do some marketing
That's why
exercises in my mind.
That's why I don't even when I release record, I don't do jazz festivals. I do the Playboy when I'm in LA because it's Hollywood Bowl.
Hold on. Wait, hold. This is just another thing you're going to gloss over. Like, I only do the Playboy if I'm around. That's what you just said.
Well, no. Mean the Hollywood Bowl gigs because it's right there.
You at home.
I love Darlene Chan since I was 15. That's my home girl.
Sure.
You feel me? So but the reason why I try not to do them is because, for one, I just don't do a lot of shows because I be trying to act for like Prince money. You know what I'm saying? And I shouldn't. But Snoop Dogg told me all somebody can say is no. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep going till I get
Closed
a yeah.
mouth.
But
Closed mouth don't get fed.
but it's like, but when I was doing the jazz festivals, I didn't want to play jazz. They'd be like, yeah, you got a quartet? I'd be like, yeah, be me and a DJ.
Yeah.
Playing my hits, going down the line.
Right.
Even the ones I think was just hits.
There's something that happens with jazz though. Not jazz, because I don't consider I consider my bass kind of jazz and soul music, clearly.
Yeah.
But my records don't reflect that. So I have this weird, like, people think of me as a jazz singer because I scat or because I've been on records with Kirk Whalum or, but it's actually soul music, but it gets put into those spaces. Like, there are spaces for jazz and soul.
Yeah.
That pop never has to really visit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what? Everybody would, let me just say this. I feel like, I mean, it's the shit get deep, but I'm gonna keep it on this right here. I feel like when us as a family and swimming around in this bubble that we have to make a living and do things with and everything, I feel like, because that's the thing. That's why I got intrigued for 1 year, and I said, you know what? Let me try some pop sessions. Let me go. The first dude I went to go see was Max Martin. I called my lawyer. I said,
That's
the best?
as pop as you get.
Who's the best guy? He said, Max Martin. I said, what about Diane Warren? Diane Warren, she's too real. She writes real great songs.
Yeah. They're almost like show songs.
Yeah, right. We gonna go there. So I go there and I go sit down, Layla. We all sit down. his two producers, him, and he says, "How do you make your records?" I say, "Well, how you make your records?"
Yeah, you tell first, Max.
And he told me. He said they start breaking it down. The bridge, this 5 songs, this notes, this note. Everything is a mat. Everything is
It's like a
a
puzzle.
die. It's a whole puzzle, right? That motherfucker said that to me. I looked at him. I said, honestly, bro, I forgot how I do my shit now. The way you just explained that shit. But look, I kept fucking with him though because I fuck with him because he bought Frank Sinatra old house.
Well,
So I'm like, okay, I'm fucking with you. I'm
you
fucking
could do that
with
with
you.
those hits. You could do that
A
with
lot of
those
hits,
hits.
and I'm going, and I'm just seeing how they get down. I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. It's a whole thing. You know, we do the music we're real. We do the shit our body and spirit embodies. Like it's not a game to us. I'm not saying it's a game to anybody else, but I'm saying when you are a different thing, when your job is to really be on her, and Billy Higgins used to always say, we are healers. When your job is to be a healer, it's a lot that come with that. Sometimes we don't have that thing to where we could click the truth on and off and go to a math equation to get a record. I don't even know what that's like. I need to know that shit quick though.
Someone please give me a math
Give it to
equation,
me.
Max
But
Martin.
you know what? When I do it, I can't, but it's just different. You feel me? It's different. But you know what? Everybody's inspired by this unapologetic black shit. Everybody.
Absolutely. And that to me is synonymous with jazz. And so even, like when you're working on records, every record that you work on has that sensibility. Thank you for all of those records, by the way.
Oh man, shit. Thank you for doing them. It was we was like, nigga. I said, nigga, Lalah Hathaway gonna sing on it. She fucking with us. She fucking with us. She fucking with us. God. We
Then
was
you
so
come to
shocked.
my house and spend the night at my house.
We was just shocked that everything we threw you was doing. I was like, damn, nigga.
This is how people look at jazz musicians. Like, like we are somewhere off talking about flat fives.
Yeah.
But really, I find a lot of people just want to be creative and meet people, on that level that really want to just talk about music and be creative.
Hey, wait, I got a question for you. Hey, yo, so when you first moved to LA, coming from Berkeley, coming from all the jazz guys, Antonio, Roy, the bosses, they helped shift the whole culture at Boston, Berkeley. Berkeley wouldn't be shit without them motherfuckers.
At all.
Berkeley still underpays everybody, but it's still all love.
Oh.
It's still all love. How was it coming to LA?
It was sad.
Dealing
sad
with
for me.
What was it like getting with Keith Crouch at that point?
I didn't meet him.
Rasan.
I didn't meet them right when I got to LA. I mean, for me, coming to LA was sad because at that point I was fully indoctrinated. I was fully listening to Bud Powell records every day. I was fully listening to Bird records every day.
You was about to be homeless.
It was. I was about to be homeless. I was listening to this music every day and wondering, where am I going to go in LA to find musicians? I had this notion in my mind that that there was not that kind of culture here for live music. And really what I found out when I moved here was the West Coast, I'm so much more almost like a native here than I am even of Chicago, which is crazy musically. Because this is the place that really has fed me musically, like for the last 8,000 years since I moved here.
LA, South Central, everybody fuck with you. Yeah. Like you a real local Crenshaw native now.
Yeah, I am.
That's deep.
It's true. You and Marlon and Bokie and Teely and Snoop and Dre and...
Shouts out to Teely. We just got our food truck and an ice cream truck too. So we got 2 trucks. We coming to a hood near you. Fuck
ice cream truck?
I'm selling ice cream, vegan and regular dairy shit too. Both options.
Oh, at some point we need to have a conversation at some point about how like the hip hop community is getting super healthy. I really appreciate it.
You know what? Because man, motherfuckers is dying off fried chicken sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy out here. Motherfuckers was in line. Did you see the way? I'm not. I know somebody ate it on this stream. It's cool. I love you still, but it was motherfuckers in line. 2 people. They were killing each other over the sandwich.
They were killing each other over the sandwich. I mean, you cannot. If you go on Jefferson now and try to go to Popeyes, you out of luck.
I don't go
17
to that
Clubs.
Popeyes. I never will forget that. That's where Chief Park's granddaughter got killed in broad
Yep,
daylight.
that's what Raquel says every time we go over there.
Real LA native. And so it's like that. I ain't gonna lie. One day I got faded and I had to get some chicken. And I stood in line so long I got nervous. I just left. Like, I'm out of here.
Oh, which
I left
Popeyes you go to?
I don't eat chicken anymore.
Oh,
But I will if we go somewhere.
I will if you make one. Okay,
Yeah,
I got some questions to ask you. Just really quick. This is
hold on, let me smoke this weed. Keep going.
I'm thinking of them as rapid fire questions, but I kind of wanted them to be the same every time, but I don't, because then people have time to prepare for what the questions are, and
I'm ready for whatever.
they're gonna be super random. Favorite Herbie Hancock record? Go.
Actual proof.
Why?
Funky rhythm, very, very different harmony, extremely different harmony, and you can't bullshit your way through that song. As a musician, it's a sporting song too. Like,
You've got to stretch and get limber.
And when players vamp on just the C minor, I'd be like this, like. Peace out to my brother Spud, but Spud group, they vamp on that C minor. I wouldn't sit in. Fuck that.
I can only understand. I can only go to half. I can only sing half of his solo on that record. Like at a certain point, my mind taps out. Like I have no more memory for that file.
Do you have Flood? Do you have the album Flood?
Of course I do. It's killer. My favorite Herbie Hancock record, though, I think is Mr. Hands.
Come on, Texture, stop. Oh, I ain't got no keyboard up. Come
Textures.
on, you know I know them tunes.
Textures.
I know them tunes.
4 a.m. You know I'm a Jocko fan as well. Okay, favorite jazz singer, living or dead?
Betty Carter.
Why?
Sensibility. Intense, able to swing.
She just reminds me of like a great tenor player.
Powerful tone, and to me, ain't no jazz singer in the world had to dance like Betty Carter. Period.
Yeah,
Betty
I agree
Carter
with that.
hired Roy Haynes, and she just and her just ability to her sense of swing is just it just feels so.
Yeah.
And
For
she's
me,
so
I think mine is now like Ella or Shirley Horn. I'm still really stuck on Shirley Horn.
I love
Like
Ella too.
Yeah.
I love because Ella with the chords and.
Oh yeah.
I love Ella too. That Betty Carter, man. Woo.
Betty Carter is hard. She was just hard. Favorite video game?
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh.
Any game that you could jack somebody and shoot a police.
And listen to jazz or hip hop on the radio while you do it.
Yeah, I'll be playing my own music.
How do you do that?
I press mute and play my gangster shit.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. There you go.
I play like Machiavellian shit, and I get drunk and put on sunglasses and the hat turned backwards and play.
Oh, that's probably too much. That's probably a lot. Name a pop artist. I would like to say current. With the best jazz chops.
Current with the best jazz chops?
I know it's so hard.
Man, the motherfuckers don't care about no jazz like that.
But who's got the chops? I think also when we say pop,
you know what?
Don't think pop like pop. Think of like contemporary music.
You know who got the chops? You know one of them is I know got the chops, and I feel Ariana Grande has the potential.
Why are you calling her Ariana Grande?
Ariana, how you say that?
Ariana.
Come on, man. You know I don't.
You feel like she has the potential, like she could sing jazz. You feel like?
Yeah.
Based on what?
I mean, she could sing a melody through a song. You know what I'm saying? Through a tune.
Based on her love for Thundercat, we like her.
Based off that, believe it or not, and based off, I can hear in her records, I can hear as she gets older where she's trying to go. You know, it's like, I mean, you know, I think, shit, I could pull a record out of SZA, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have to explain that one to me. I
Well,
love her records. I don't hear a jazz influence, but
we
I don't hear anything that she's doing as ad lib. I don't hear anything happening that wasn't supposed to happen. You understand what I'm saying by that?
so yeah, so that's why she'll be she'll be one of those strong melody givers then.
Yeah, this is
It's a
true.
place for just
It's a way to think about it. I mean, if I think about like Jasmine Sullivan, I know that I absolutely know that she can hear changes. That's clear. You know.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, Jasmine. Her. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I can shit. They so bad though. Shit. I'm like, you know, doing that thing. Honestly, yeah, can I keep? I don't know. I'm trying to have a cordial conversation about this shit. I don't even listen to shit really right now in my life. Let me.
But here's the thing: is I don't really. It's hard to say like what is pop now. It's just what is popular,
Yeah,
and
because I
it's hard
mean,
to hear the influence of anything other than other things that are popular.
that's why the Outcasts, the Kendrick Lamar, that's why those people are so, and that's why they stand out.
Yeah,
That's why they stand out. It's like, man, that's why it's, and I feel you. I feel you. Like and it gets rough. It gets rough when it gets to be a little challenging sometimes for me when you have to do it for a living all the way out as a
right.
record producer or just be in the entertainment business full throttle. Like, not to be, you sound
Yeah.
amazing, babe. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it
know
will
what I'm
kill the
saying?
music. But I have to say, that's something that you do very well. That's something that you understand how to navigate those waters without being like fake.
Yes, but I work with who I work with, but sometimes I get into these circles and I know the first hour I say, oh,
Yeah, I'm out.
they're all meeting me. They don't. Oh, oh.
Yeah.
And then I leave. Then I do shit like, hey, let me go use the bathroom, and I just never come back. You know,
Oh.
because
You
no,
know who
because
somebody
go ahead.
No, you.
I was gonna say, at this point of my life, and I think I always been. I think because of my jazz foundation and my high respect for that particular art form and the human beings that played a role in that art form and what it really meant. I'm talking about before before that shit got to North Texas, Berkeley, and all this other shit. Like, I feel like, and no disrespect, I just feel like how I grew up knowing about jazz and everything was through family and street shit. So I'm only gonna be sincere with whoever I could work with. Like, I don't know how to be like, I'm just gonna work and get the bag, because I never get the bag. I be
Right.
like,
Is
I
there a bag?
always
Where is the bag? Is there a place you can
uh,
go pick the bag up, or do I
mm-hmm.
need a some sort of claim ticket for the bag? Said
Yeah,
bag.
it's doing what we talked about the other day. It's loving music, making music, putting your music everywhere, and then go buy some real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mac 10 and Snoop Dogg taught me that young. They taught me young, buy something. Buy something, buy something, buy something, buy something. So when the rap game and when the music game go, like, cause when you the hot shit, everybody pick up the motherfucking call. When you the medium
Right.
shit,
It's like being
when
an athlete.
when you the hot
You
shit,
gotta. Mm-hmm.
when you hot, everybody pick up the call and they do the feature. When you meet him, they'll pick up the call and talk. When you cold, they don't pick up the call. So it's these three
Right.
levels that a lot of motherfuckers don't know unless you've been through it in and out. That I
Yeah.
know now. So now I treat everybody like, nigga, fuck your call, nigga. Fuck your call, nigga. I'm not ruining my sanity fucking with you in this
No,
bullshit.
you take all the calls. You have someone that takes the calls for you.
But look at everybody I work with. It's the same niggas for 20 years.
Yeah, you got to do what you feel comfortable. You got to stay in your peace and stay in that pocket. That's
You
just
know, because it's just, and I get with new artists all the time, and some of them when they get with me, they're in love with a thing, what they think it is,
uh huh.
and but then when I get with them, I'm like, so what you want to do?
Yeah.
And like, well, I have this vision, I want to do this, and what do you think? Sounds great to me.
Yeah,
Let's
because
do
your
it.
job ultimately is to bring to fruition what it is they want to do
Yeah.
in, in the
And then
perfect world.
sometime I get the motherfuckers that be right in my ear like, man, can you play like this? Da 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 da, like da da, and I be like, but now I say this. I don't listen to that shit, bro. I don't play what you tell me to play. I don't give a fuck about what you tell me to play. I'm going to play this, and if it don't work out, you still gave my day rate and erase it, bro. We don't got to work together, bro. But I'm not going to, no, that shit ain't hip what you want me to play.
Oh. That's just how you leave the session. It's just like, thank you and good night.
Because when I'm with them, they don't understand how this go. Like, I go with a vibe. I'm going with the room. I kind of don't even like people dictating where we gonna go. That's why I tell people, don't even hire me sometimes. It's so expensive. You got to give me in Larrabee for 8, 9, not you, like, but you got to give me in Larrabee. But you got to give me in Larrabee for 8, 9 days. But the shit don't start rolling after I deal with family issues and life.
But the whole point is, what people want is they want to replicate what you have done in the pop world with your musical sensibility. That's what they're trying to replicate.
Every hit record back in the day was a different liquor and a different woman. Every hit, every record. So I don't talk to them no more. I'm married now.
This is a very hard thing for people to understand. That you can't, that what happened was a formula. It's not a formula that you can't just recreate. You're not going to make another to pimp more butterflies. That's not going to happen.
First of all, that record, they ain't gonna let me. Nah,
that's not going to happen again.
We gonna move on. We gonna go to something else. We gonna hit the corner. You know, I think we'll all see that. Probably the 20-year reunion. And we'll all sing our songs.
I'll just walk in and do the same thing because, for people that don't know, I'm singing on a lot of that Kendrick Lamar record, and a lot of it is you calling me in and saying, "Hey, can you come down here and just do some stuff?" And me in a room for 27 minutes just scatting.
And we used everything.
Yeah.
And they sampled you too. What's the producer knowledge?
Yeah.
Sampled you.
Yeah.
I played bass and keys on that. Bass on that motherfucker.
I love that record.
Yeah. But it's
like scatting on the end of Black of the Berry. I mean, that's a straight, like, you just walk into a situation and you ad lib.
That's right.
That's jazz.
Right. That's right. I haven't listened to that record since we all did that record, but that's right. Black of the Berry.
Yeah.
Black of the Berry, sweet of the juice.
Yeah.
Man. But what I want to say too? All this talk we having, these are good because motherfuckers act like you can't have an opinion no more too. And I want to tell everybody listening, I've been having an opinion for years. Fuck who don't like my opinion. It's all love though. It's all love.
Because you're like so angry and then so loving all at once. Fuck who don't like me, but I love y'all though. I love y'all though.
Oh man. Remember when Corrupt met you?
Yes. I love him. Tell him I said hey.
I will. Did you see him on Marriage Boot Camp?
I couldn't even really watch it. I don't like to think of Corrupt as married, first of all. I don't know. He's so pristine in my memory. I just love him. He's just a good guy.
So what have you been doing lately?
Preparing for the Jazz Nerdz podcast. I haven't been doing a lot of music, honestly. I feel detached.
Who else you gonna have on this podcast? Who else you gonna have?
I don't know. Who you think I should have?
You gotta get Robert. You gotta get Rob.
We're gonna talk about different things to different people.
Get Kamasi, the same homies.
Mm-hmm.
Get T. Lee. Get T. Lee.
It would be nice to see T. Lee. Tell him I said what's up.
T. Lee's the one that turned me on to Joni Mitchell, Steely Dan, Stevie. T. Lee turned me on to everything whole life.
You would see T. Lee in the street and be like, that dude will shoot me. But here he is listening to Chalk Mark in a Rainstorm.
Gino Vanelli.
Ooh. There's somebody that took jazz and pop and fused them together.
High level.
Yeah. Changes, orchestration.
Me and Vinny Colaiuta was talking about him.
Me and Vinny. Oh.
Y'all know Vinny? Y'all know Vinny out there?
You keep dropping these gems. You keep dropping these Jimmy names.
They just friends.
I understand.
They just friends. You know what? I'm thankful all y'all, whoever I grew up listening to, I sought y'all out and became y'all friend.
I feel exactly the same.
And that's just it.
I hang with the people that mentored me growing up. That's
it. It's easy. You feel me? You could get drunk and say crazy shit. Nobody judge you. You know,
Yeah.
new people want to judge you.
Well, were you talking to Vinny Caluto about Gino Vanelli?
I talked to Gino Cal. You know, one of the best conversations I had with Vinny Caluta was a conversation about Elvin Jones, and me and him both agreed that Elvin had a way to play. I told him I sat there at the Jazz Bakery one day, and it was hardly nobody in the club, and Elvin was playing, and it was four of us in there sitting on different sides, and when the lights came on, Elvin was just writing a symbol, and everybody was just wiping their eyes because
Oh
it
yeah.
felt like the God
The
was in the
most
room.
lyrical drumming ever.
Oh my God! It wasn't ding ding da ding ding da ding. It was ding ding da ding 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 da ding ding. It was just nothing. It felt like the ride cymbal was an orchestra, and it made you cry, man. And
Yeah.
I wasn't smoking weed
You
as
weren't
a
high.
kid.
There was no bong and no dabbing
I
involved
was
that day.
16. I was 16. I was cool.
Understood.
A lot
To
of
me,
water.
Elvin Jones is like a super. This is a discussion maybe for another day, but it's almost primal. Like the way he plays, even gently, particularly the brushes. It's a language that I understand from 1,000 years ago, and I can't even explain how. It's a genetic call.
Yeah, it's like something we're raised. It's like, you know what it is. Christian Scott said it's like ancestral recall. That's his
That's what it
thing.
is. It's genetic memory. I love it.
You know, and it's something that we grew up with. We know that sound, and so
Yep.
many other drummers was influenced by that. You know, another quick story. Tony Williams, you know, he played bigger sticks and bigger drums, but the night he decided to do that, he subbed for Elvin and played with Train, the quartet. And what Herbie told me is when he got done with the gig, Herbie said, "How was the gig?" Because they had been known, "Oh my God, you're gonna sub for Elvin."
So
Because
yeah.
oh my God, what? And Tony was hyped, right? You know, he go down the Birdland, he play. At the end of the night, he told Herbie, "I can't feel my arms."
Like he been at the
I
gym.
need more, you know. So he started playing bigger sticks and stuff.
Wow.
Shout out to Tony Williams, the God,
Absolutely.
God.
Chi-Town. Chi-Town.
He from Chi-Town too?
Absolutely. All the best people are. You know it. You know it. You know it.
We saw the
Terrace.
Chief Keef, Chi-Town,
No, 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 no.
Chief Keef.
No, sir. Terrace, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
You know what it's about? It's about a connection.
Oh, God.
I wish I could play a little tune for y'all, but
I wish you could, too. You could serenade us out. I would scat over it.
I haven't played saxophone in 6 months, neither. I think I'm gonna practice.
Pick up your
tomorrow.
horn. Stop playing games.
So let me tell you why I'm not picking up my horn now. It's conscious. I'm really digging in. This is for real. I'm writing 3 songs. I'm really digging into a thing to where I'm not listening to certain things right now. I'm only listening to like the Steely Dance, the Jonies, the early Jodeci records, the first 2 Jodeci records, like Frank Ocean. I'm trying to really step my writing game up to a high level.
That's inspiring.
Yeah, so and to do that, just like when I was playing, if I'm going out with about to play an intense, like when Wayne fell a little ill, I had to sub for him for his quartet gigs.
I'm sorry, what?
Last year Wayne fell, I had to sub for him. I had to do the play with the quartet with
You had,
Danilo
you had to sub in the Wayne Shorter Quartet?
because if Wayne could, they had Kirby like I'm pulling up.
Oh.
I'm pulling up. You feel me?
Who are you?
But for that, guess what?
Who are you?
I didn't listen to shit but Wayne Shorter,
That's right.
early Branford, like, and reading my look. I still.
Ooh, I need to borrow that.
And then, well, just to fuck around, just some transcription books. I got a lot of books though, pattern books.
I see. You're back there being a musician.
Yeah, but they on the floor. Like they've been on the
It's
floor
okay.
for 3.
They're there. It's okay. It's okay.
No, they hear like a motherfucker. But I got the vocoder hooked up and shit. I got the keyboards.
Because you do everything. You're full. You have almost too much information.
Well, you know what? I make most of my money doing that, and I haven't made no new money in the pandemic, so I gotta go with the strong point, baby.
Understood. Understood. Thank you for showing up.
And showing out.
Yeah. Love you, man.